Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Benno, and joining me is Sen Dong. Hey Sen, welcome to another podcast. Happy Lunar New Year's just this past weekend, right? And I'm pretty stuffed right now. We had a feast.
Yeah, same here.
All right, that's awesome. So we need to work off those extra calories that we gained over the weekend.
Yeah, and all the money that we lost to red envelopes because we are parents.
Yes. We're no longer getting them.
We're
it's kind of
handing them out.
Yeah, it's a losing money venture.
Yeah, we're
Money
making
can
up
only
for
go out.
yeah, we're making up for all those times when we were getting money. Now we're giving it all back.
Exactly, which is like a temporary loan, which we will pay back once we get older.
Right.
But okay, one way to work off those extra calories is, of course, talking about the weekend box office. It turned out that we were again pretty off on our projections, and
Except for Go, right?
Yes, except for Go. Yeah, maybe we'll get to that. We'll
Okay.
get to that. But it seems like 2017 will continue the trend of lackluster sequels. Sequels just not doing well at the box office.
Yep. I think we finally have sequel-itis.
Not finally, it continued like in 2016, right? All these sequels
Yeah.
just didn't do well.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, in 2015, everyone's like, well, since all these superhero movies became super successful, especially the Marvel films, like, how many sequels can the audience tolerate? People are finally starting to be tired of them.
Yeah, but just to be clear, the Marvel stuff are okay. The exception, the superhero movies, right? As well with the Star Wars movies, they're okay. They're kind of exempt from the sequel-itis thing.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, sort of, but we're not talking about the like the huge rise and complete collapse that
Right.
we've seen in
Well,
some of the
Star
other
Wars
sequels.
Star Wars is an exception because it's still relatively new.
Mhm.
But I think with other superhero sequels, even Captain America: Civil War, although it did better than the Captain America movies, it was treated more of like an Avengers movie. And when you compare it to the Avengers movies, there was a decline. The first Avengers grossed over 600 million, and then the second Avengers only ended up doing like 400 million plus, and then same with Civil War. So there is a slight decline. There's a decent decline from the first Avengers to the second Avengers, and Civil War, which is Avengers 2.5, also did. I mean, it did well, but didn't do as well as people were expecting.
Yeah, but okay, I think the Marvel stuff are okay, all right? I mean, they're worried, but they're not going to say, let's stop making these superhero movies.
I don't think any of them are gonna stop, but there is a decline. Even like the Hunger Games, or even all these YA sequels, like Divergent or The Maze Runner. Those have experienced huge declines. The Marvel films haven't declined as much, but there is a slight erosion though.
Right. Okay, but how does that relate to this weekend, right? We're talking about the latest Resident Evil movie.
There's a point here.
Yeah, there's a point here.
So has Resident Evil went the way of the YA adaptations or the Marvel? Is it a slow decline or a steep decline? We'll get to it, but it's a steep decline.
Yeah. Basically, it kind of took the turn of the ones that came before it, the one that's like a week ago or two ago, which is the Resident
Underworld.
Evil. No, the Underworld movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. We said, will it follow that franchise? And we will find out. Don't jump ahead of us. If you already seen the box office, don't jump ahead of us. Just
All right,
stay
go
long.
ahead.
All right, let's jump
Ben.
right into the box office. Okay, so we're getting in the new Chinese New Year. We have also the immigration ban that's going on. That might have some effect, but probably not at the box office. But here it goes. Number one, surprisingly, right? I was surprised that M. Night Shyamalan's horror movie Split repeated with a lowest drop off of 34%. It pulled in 26 million in the second weekend.
Yeah. After 2 weeks of release, it has already grossed 78 million. And here's the thing, I'm not sure if we mentioned it last week. This is a horror film, and horror films I think we probably mentioned it last week, tend to have a huge drop off on the second weekend, usually in the 60% range on average. And then if it's poorly reviewed with really bad word of mouth, you even see ranges in the 70 to 80% area. But Split, because it was very well reviewed, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. For a film in this genre, that's really good.
Yeah, I believe we made that point pretty much with every horror movie that we expect a huge second week drop off.
Yeah, unless the reviews are good and the word of mouth is good.
Right.
And we were wondering which way this will go, and it went the way of, 34% is like one of the best hosts for a horror film.
No, for a horror film, it's very good. I mean, even for a
That's
pretty
why I
good
said
movie,
one of the best.
It's very good.
Yeah.
34% is a good hold for any movie, let alone a horror film. It's especially good. Yeah, especially
that's why
good for a
it's
horror film.
one of the best. One of the best.
All right, so of course this movie is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, right? Who hit it big with The Sixth Sense, right? And continue to make these movies with twists, and Split, as you said, also has a twist.
Mm-hmm.
It's a twist movie. Like, that's his thing.
Yeah. He's finally getting his mojo back with The Visit and this.
Right. And I think it kind of accumulates everything with the Last Airbender, I believe, for M. Night Shyamalan. This big budget bomb.
Yeah. Even The Last Airbender wasn't that bad because that opened huge. Even though it dropped off quickly, it's more of his recent ones like like that Will Smith and Jaden Smith movie.
After Earth.
Yeah, After Earth was pretty bad. It opened to 25 million, which was like, for a Will Smith movie in the sci-fi genre, is pretty awful. And it was a big budget. I'm not sure how well it did worldwide. It might have broke even, but it's that one. And then it's after Signs and Unbreakable, which were both critical and commercial successes. The Village opened really well, but dropped off really quickly. The Village, I think, opened to like 50 million or something. But the openings have been, let me see, yeah, like you said, the Last Airbender opened to 40 million. Devil only opened to like 13 million. Did he direct Devil, or was that just that was
Devil?
just written and produced, but not directed by him. And I think Devil was actually decently well reviewed. I started hearing decent things about him again, like, hey, he's actually a pretty good writer. So he ended up not directing that movie.
Yeah. The thing is, like, people tend to forget is that he has a long list of writing credits.
Yeah.
And he even wrote Stuart Little.
Yeah.
That movie
right.
about that mouse. So
yeah.
He's not just a horror guy. He just seems so happen to, I guess, gravitate toward that, or that his projects, people tend to, or studios tend to greenlit his horror movies.
Because The Sixth Sense became such a huge hit, he became a pigeonhole into, the twist guy. But he's still that guy, but he's doing, he's still that guy, it seems. But he's kind of unchained by the studios, and he's getting more freedom by making these movies cheaper. So he's getting his mojo back.
Right. I mean, as we said previously, right? His movies always kind of did well.
They open well,
office, but
yeah. But in the early stages, they opened well, and they were leggy, and they were critically acclaimed. But after Unbreakable, his film started being critically panned, and despite opening well, the drop-offs were super huge, and the budgets were huge, and they started losing money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what happened. Is that I think maybe critics just got tired of the formula. I think it will get to that point again because he's doing the same stuff. Like we said, right? I mean, his films are defined by how good that twist ending is.
Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad. Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna go, because he was a twist guy, and even with Split, still has a huge twist in the end. But I guess it depends on whether or not what happens between A to B is good enough.
Right. And like I said, his first couple movies, right, starting with The Sixth Sense, are pretty well regarded. People liked it, right? But he took a couple years off between movies, really. I mean, After Earth was a huge commercial bomb, but now he's getting back, as you said, to I don't know if he's getting back or just that, like, he has a more freedom to work with. Like he's giving a lower budget. I'm not sure if this is temporary. Or something like that. He can be sustained.
Yeah, no, I mean he's done it 2 times in a row, and now his split looks like something that is gonna be on a Sixth Sense level, meaning that the staying power. It's actually getting good word of mouth, and it's actually that word of mouth is spreading.
Okay, we'll see how far this one can go. And like I said, this success might not bode well for him, since with all these things, studios tend to throw money at successful filmmakers.
Yeah, it depends. Maybe he'll learn from it. Maybe he's already learned from it. Hey, he did it once before. The studios threw a lot of money at him, and maybe now he knows that, hey, I'm not gonna. He'll probably only make movies for as much as he wants to make them for.
Well, I don't know. It's just like, hey, you either make a 5 million movie, or hey, I'm giving you 60 million, to make one of your dream projects. But the thing is, like, with money, right, comes strings attached. All these producers, the money guys, have their own input into the movie.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But it looks like he's been there and done that, and he's taking a different approach now.
Yeah. I think he earned enough that he could pretty much finance his own movies, kind of, as long as he keep his low budget. Keep the budget low, he can pretty much finance his movies now, I think.
Yeah, if he keeps it within the 10 million range. But most celebrities would rather spend other people's money than their own.
True. Less risk, right?
No risk.
I mean,
no
why
risk.
spend your own money when other people give you money?
Yeah,
right? So.
No risk. Speaking of After Earth, it wasn't as huge of a bomb as people think it is. It cost 130 million, which is very expensive, but it also did 245 million worldwide. It wasn't as big of a disaster as people think it is.
Yeah, but like 75% of that is from overseas market, and you usually get a lower take overseas. So
in general terms, if you can make back twice as much as your budget worldwide, you're in good hands.
Yeah, but it also depends on the split of the worldwide take as well.
Yeah, it depends on the split. There's another thing. The reason why they use that rule is because home video is also huge. Home video worldwide is also huge. So that's why they make that split. As long as you can do twice the budget of your film worldwide, you're usually in pretty good hands.
Okay, so getting back to M. Night Shyamalan, right? He's on the upswing again. With his recent 2 low budget movies.
You can go out and say I'm an M. Night Shyamalan fan without reservations now. Again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, he's back. He's back on the scene.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the second film on our list. One of the new openings, kind of controversial. It's A Dog's Purpose. It did 18.4 million over the weekend on a budget of just 22 million, which makes it a legitimate hit. And what were we predicting? I wasn't high on this at all because of the controversy, because of a video released by TMC, allegedly heavily edited, that showed one of the dogs being abused. So it did 18.4 million, which was, even without the controversy, is on the upper end of what I was expecting. But I forgot what number I was
way upper end. You said 5 million, and I went a bit higher, saying 8. But I also know that this movie could surprise.
Yeah, and it did.
And it's one of those movies that is a feel-good movie, and it's a dog, animal movie, which could play huge with different demographics. There's the kid crowd, there's the religious crowd, and a couple others. Family movie, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the religious crowd, but just a family film.
Sure, I mean it's not heavily religious, but it kind of.
Oh, okay, the reincarnation thing. Okay, right.
Yeah, it has the same message. Anyway, right? So this movie did surprise.
I'm surprised that the reviews are, well, I guess not, maybe because of the controversy, the reviews. I wonder if that affected the reviews too. It's 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. Which is pretty bad.
Some movies are I know, but some movies are kind of review proof. But but the thing is, like, we have to see in the second weekend. Reviews will affect the second weekend.
No, I was wondering if the controversy affected the reviews.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Pretty much critics review the movie. It doesn't, then wouldn't knock a star or two off because of what happened behind the scene.
I don't know. Things like this is hard to prove. Because I was reading how they said this movie was tracking to do 25 million before the controversy. And I was like, really? I wasn't expecting this to do 25 million. And then the examples they were using, like, Snow Day or whatever, was doing like 20, open to like 20 million, or Dolphin's Tail. I'm like, this is around that range. This is a dog and not a snow dog and not a dolphin. And it could be a little bit higher, but 18.4 million, even without the controversy, is like way on the way upper end of what I was expecting.
Well, the thing is, I say I wouldn't be surprised if it opened that high, but just because based on my own feelings, like I wouldn't watch this movie, right? But it was on track to do 25, as you said. But like I said, there's like things happening, in the world which might affect it, like the mass protests that's going on over the weekend.
I don't know if those have anything to do with this.
No, well, we don't know, right? But it's like people are outside and they're not in theaters, so could affect it. Could have some effect.
It didn't affect Split.
Well, who knows?
So I don't know about that.
Maybe it could earn higher in the second weekend. We don't know, right?
All right. Okay, sure. Why
right?
not?
Could even have a lower drop off.
All right.
We don't know.
Okay. Speaking of films that are holding up really well, our next film is Hidden Figures. It did 14 million over the weekend. It held up even better than Split. The drop-off was only 11%. After 6 weeks of release, it has already grossed 104 million on a budget of just 25 million. And I think a lot of it is helped by the Oscar nominations that came out last week. It received a Best Picture and a few more nominations, right?
Sure. But I also have to mention it would have earned more if it wasn't for the protests. Just have to get
okay,
that in
sure.
there.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. How about we move along to number 4, Resident Evil, the final chapter. It's one of the new releases that was opened last weekend. It pulled in about 13.8 million off from our projections. You said 15, which is
which is very close.
And I said 20. Yeah, I said 20.
Yeah, so I was not that far off on this one, only about $1 million off. And we were wondering because Underworld and Resident Evil on a domestic level is almost follow the exact same track. They both make about 40 to 60 million at the domestic box office. And this one followed the same trend as Underworld. It usually opened in the 20 million range. And like the last Underworld, this only opened to about 14 million. 13, 14 million. Sequel-itis, whatever, like we mentioned before. But surprisingly, like Underworld, I guess maybe not surprisingly, they kept the budget pretty low at this. The budget is only 40 million. Especially for a film that did nearly 300 million over worldwide, 40 million is kind of low.
Yeah, and as we said in our opening, we're talking about sequelitis, sequels not doing well, and last year and continuing into this year. But then again, this is what, the 6th movie?
Yeah, like Underworld, the 5th, 6th movie. Kind of on its last leg.
Yeah, it takes fatigue to a new level, right?
Yeah, especially on a domestic level. But I think worldwide, this one and Underworld did really well in foreign markets. Like, the Underworld film did the best it ever did overseas. And I think the last Resident Evil did just as well, if not a little bit better than the previous one, the one before that, which is like over 230 million or something. So I'm surprised that the budget was only 40 million.
Maybe not so surprised. Yeah, because I'm sure they did the math and find these the drop off, and if the trends continues, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. It opened low here, domestic market. But as we find out, these franchises still huge overseas.
For some reason, the overseas market always takes a couple years to catch up to the U.S. They don't realize that these films are no longer in vogue or no longer popular until a couple years afterwards.
No, well, Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger are still huge, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
Well, it's a joke. They took a couple years to catch up.
Yeah,
They
right.
haven't discovered that they're kind of over the hill. No?
Yeah. Well, Arno is, but Stallone still, he got an Oscar nomination for Creed. He's still in good hands, but Arno, like everything he's been in, other than the Expendable films, have been huge duds. Even Celebrity Apprentice. So
Yeah, but Stallone has other skills.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's why these actors, as they get older, they need to pick up other skills. And it seems like directing is one of them that leads to like Clint Eastwood. And of course Stallone always has the writing and the directing.
Right. Another thing they could go into now is politics.
Yeah, that's true. Although with Arnold, like you said, maybe it's affected him.
I doubt it.
But anyway, we digress.
Okay.
So Resident Evil kind of performed just like Underworld, but the worldwide figure for Resident Evil is 78 million, which is about twice as much as its budget already. So they're still gonna make a profit, but kind of at this rate, we're not sure if they're gonna make another one. This might finally be the final chapter.
The final chapter may be with Mila Jovovich as the lead.
But of course, Netflix will probably reboot it, just like they've been rebooting everything.
Right, or whoever get it. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a property that is still valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, before we looked at the numbers, right, we were pretty bullish. I mean, we were pretty confident this movie will do well because of the overseas market.
Yeah. And then we look at the domestic numbers like, oh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah. But still, it's going to make money overseas.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's going to continue to be propped up by the overseas market. But the thing is, like, as we say, we don't know if this one will be, Mila Jovovich's final movie in this character.
Right.
Maybe she'll appear in a cameo in the reboot or spin-off or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, let's move on to number 5, La La Land. It pulled in 12 million over the weekend, a 43% increase from the previous weekend because, as with hitting figures of the Oscar bump.
Yeah, the Oscar bump, and it added nearly 1,300 more theaters.
That's true, but normally when you add, you dilute the earnings. But hey,
No,
when you
add, it dilute the per theater average.
per theater average, yes.
Yeah, but the overall amount usually increase. So it's like you said, the Oscar nominations and the increase in theaters. Like we mentioned last week, we hope that you make more.
Right. And the domestic take right now is 106 million, and the worldwide is 223 million. Budget is 30, so it's gonna win awards. It's doing well critically and commercially. So hey, huge success right here.
Yeah, so now the big thing is, we win Best Picture, because in the last couple of Oscars, the Best Picture winners tend to be low-grossing films.
I think the chances are good.
We shall see.
But who knows? It could some movie could come out of nowhere because of the way it's the voting goes, right?
Yeah, you don't know how much that will come to play, because in previous year I have read things where they feel like a certain Best Picture winner has already been well compensated, so they feel like they should award a movie that's not getting enough attention. And it seems like La La Land has been getting so much attention. The Academy might feel like they should reward a smaller film like Moonlight or Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, I think if any movie is the dark horse in the Oscar race, is Moonlight.
Yeah. I feel like Manchester by the Sea, there's the whole there's a small controversy with Casey Affleck too, like sexual harassment lawsuits that were settled, not for this film, but for one of the films he directed. So that kind of affects it. I think it might. So the safest choice might be Moonlight, because it's a film that's without controversy and that's getting a lot of attention, and the Academy might feel like rewarding this because it's so far it has only made like about 80 million at the box office, whereas Hidden Figures and La La Land, are already making over 100 million.
Right. I mean, if there's this thing going on, like as you said,
Mhm.
where members of the Academy felt that they need to reward a lesser known movie like Moonlight, knowing that La La Land and Manchester by the Sea has already won enough, has already gained enough notoriety at the box office critically, and probably won pretty much every other award at the Oscars, they might give, like, hey, Best Picture to give it a bump.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number six. Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. It did 8.3 million over the weekend, a drop off of 60%. Despite the decent cinema score, it's dropping off like the usual action movie. After 2 weeks of release, it grossed about 33.5 million on a budget of 85 million, which on a domestic level is a dud, but this movie was made for the international audience. And worldwide, the worldwide figure is at 122.5 million, which is not bad, and it still hasn't opened in China, a place where I think this could do pretty well because of Donnie Yen.
Yeah. What happened here? What happened here? I thought this movie would do better
Yeah, I thought it
here
would do better.
domestically.
Well, the thing is, Triple X, there's been so many years, and even though they try to promote it as Fast and Furious Light, it still only got the typical Vin Diesel action film, which is it opens to about 20 million and then steep drop-offs. So it might just be a combination of the sequel fatigue and the last film with him in this franchise was 15 years ago.
Uh, yeah, true, but Triple X2, right? Nobody's seen it, pretty much. And
Well, 20 million opening is actually kind of decent.
it's decent, but I
In
thought
and of
this
it,
movie
yeah,
would be, yeah, it would be bigger,
yeah,
because hey, the action scenes looks great. I mean, if you're an action fan, hey, Triple X,
yeah. But yeah, so
right?
like we said before, it is kind of disappointing on a domestic
It
level.
is. It
Yeah.
is. I mean, yeah, domestic level is disappointing because if you're into action adventure movies, it has exotic locations, it has good looking people, it has these cult, like cult here, right?
Mhm.
Action stars like Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa.
Yeah. Overseas, it can do pretty well because there's still some pretty big markets: China, South Korea, Japan.
Yeah, I know that it'll do well overseas, but just couldn't explain it here. Is Vin Diesel that kind of a niche action star here? Even though his Fast and Furious movies did well,
Yeah. It seems,
he
it
could
seems
he
like
could
it.
open something like Triple X.
It's been a while. That's the thing. He's even the Riddick movies he had trouble opening because if he had did this like a few years afterwards, because the first film opened well, overall it did pretty well, and had he not demanded too much money and did this like a couple years after the first film, it would probably do a lot better. But he's kind of another aging action star too, and people can see it. He's no
Okay.
longer that he's no longer as as built as he used to be. He's kind of like sagging.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I guess Vin Diesel is not as huge as I thought he was. All right. Let's move on to number 7. Sing, Universal's animated feature. Sort of like a talent search movie with
Hmm.
animals. Put in about 6.2 million over the weekend. In the sixth weekend already, domestic gross is 257 million, and a worldwide take is 463 million.
On a domestic level, it has already outgrown Despicable Me, which, like we said, was not something I was expecting, but you were expecting. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, can't go wrong with cute animals. Can't go wrong. And okay, number 8 is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Pulled in about 5.1 million. I don't know how much more we can say about this. It's crossed half a billion here. 520 million domestic. Worldwide is over 1 billion.
Like we said last week, this will move. Well, it has already moved on the worldwide chart. It's already the second highest grossing film of 2016, behind Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, and when like, and we talk about the domestic grosses of all these movies, right? And
Uh,
this movie, half a billion.
yeah, And it's just a
And
spin-off.
some of these, yeah, and some of these movies that are on the list struggle to cross 200.
Yeah,
Some of the bigger ones. It all began when George Lucas gave up control of the property to Disney.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, and we see a resurgence of it. And before, right, there's like decades between movies, or between trilogies. now we're seeing a Star Wars movie pretty much every year.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 9, Monster Trucks. It pulled in about 4.1 million in its third weekend. Domestic gross so far is 28 million, and the foreign take is the worldwide take is 50 million. So as you said, the budget is 110 million. Looks like
You'll lose money. You'll lose a lot of money.
and as we said about this movie before, I mean, who are they targeting with this movie? Kids, but kids and driving.
They try to
yeah.
target kids.
Right.
But it's just a very odd film.
Or a very mediocre film, and I guess not many people want to watch it, even for the family audience.
But all right, let's move on to number 10. Go, the other wide release over the weekend, starring Matthew McConaughey, about a guy who found gold in a foreign land and made a lot of money with his buddy. And when there's money involved, there's lots of people going after his money, and then there are loyalties being tested and destroyed, etc., and didn't do very well. It bombed.
Right. So it pulling through about 3.5 million. All projections were like you 4, me 5. So we're pretty close on this movie.
Yeah. So overall, we weren't too bad. We were pretty close on Go and Resident Evil. We were just way off on the Dog's Purpose.
You're right. So that's a movie that we were wrong on, but which I say could surprise us. Right.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. In the last podcast, I said that they found a gold mine in South America, and it was actually in Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's a different country, but
Right.
same thing, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't have too much money, or else you will have self-destructing tendencies, and people will want your money, whether it's the government or other criminal elements.
Yeah.
And and we said that what we're surprised by Gold, and Weinstein's other movie is The Founder.
Yeah.
Is why aren't the Weinsteins pushing this movie in for award contentions? And we don't know why. So I guess that's the mystery to us.
Well, at least with Go, is the reviews weren't that great, weren't that good. It's 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. But with The Founder was actually decently well reviewed. So I'm surprised why they didn't push that. They have pushed lesser films before.
No, they would push any film in their portfolio.
Right.
Not just lesser film. This is like anyone, whether it's well reviewed or not, they would push it because there's an uptick with nominations.
Right. Just want to make a few notes
Okay.
on the worldwide grosses. Passenger, which had a budget of 110 million. Worldwide is at 289 million, so it's closing in at 300 million, which makes it a solid hit.
That is the Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt sci-fi romance movie.
Yeah, that kind of, when it opened during Christmas, was kind of disappointing, but it slowly made a lot of money.
It's quite leggy.
Yeah.
And is it kind of like Titanic in space?
I guess.
I haven't seen the movie, but
Yeah, I don't know. But the other film of note is Assassin's Creed. When it opened during Christmas, was considered a bomb because it cost 125 million to make, and so far it has only grossed 54 million in the U.S. But the worldwide take is at 210 million, which even at a budget of 125 million, it might eventually break even.
okay, and that follows your rule of 2 times its production budget.
Yeah. So not the disaster that a lot of people think it is when it opened during Christmas. Kind of like After Earth.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed is that Michael Fassbender movie that's based on a video game franchise.
Yeah, I was kind of wrong here too. At first, I thought I don't see how this film will even do as well overseas. But you were right. You're like, hey, video games are huge overseas, and it's gonna do huge overseas in those territories, and it did. And looks like they'll probably eventually break even. We won't see a sequel.
Yeah, I don't remember me saying that, but since
You don't want to take the
it sounds
credit?
good, I will take the credit. I will
Alright.
take any credit.
Alright.
But I'm just saying, I don't remember saying that. But if you think I say it, if you believe I said, I said it. Okay, all right. So I was right. Anyway, what I said was that I don't see Assassin's Creed being, as big in China as the Warcraft movie because
Yeah.
the Assassin's Creed games are kind of like single player affairs.
Right.
So it might not do that well.
Mm.
Might not have the success of Warcraft overseas, especially in China. So, but
Yeah.
I kind of surprised that hey, keep making those movies for the overseas market.
Yeah, and here's the thing, it hasn't opened in China yet. So it still has China to go and it's already close to break even on a worldwide level. So
Yeah. So what we're seeing here really is that some movies just doesn't work that well here anymore.
yeah. And the thing with Assassin's Creed is it could eventually even make a slight profit because there's still China and Japan, which are two of the biggest markets in Asia. So,
So,
hey,
but it's something that we've been saying all along, is that movies are increasingly made for the overseas market. Because that's where the money is being made.
yeah. And the interesting thing is, for some reason, the foreign markets always takes a couple of years to catch up to the US market in terms of like the celebrity brand or brands in general. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no,
Kind of.
kind of. There's no hard fact to prove any of that. Just stuff that I'm throwing out there.
Yeah. It's just that there's like cultural differences, where it's not like one size fits all. You can't make like Triple X, for example, Return of Xander Cage here, and expect it to do well here, but hey, it could do well overseas. There's like
Yeah,
differences in the audience
yeah, right,
expectation, I guess.
right.
So anyway, that's what we're seeing. All right, so that's it. How about we move on to the new releases? As I was saying, we have 2 wide releases this coming weekend.
2 or 3.
I think it's 2. We have Rings. This the I don't know, remake, reboot, or a sequel. I think it's kind of sequel reboot of the the Japanese horror movie.
Yeah, I don't know anymore when they make sequels nowadays.
Right. So they're all kind of related. And then
Yeah,
the romance, sci-fi romance, kind of like The Passenger, I guess. Maybe not, but
yeah.
it's similar elements. The Space Between Us. Supposedly they're open in similar amount of theaters, 2,800.
Should we start out with Wings? Since
Yeah,
on
let's
this,
start off with Rings. Yeah, let's start with Rings. So this franchise, or this movie, is based on a Japanese horror movie, where if you watch a videotape, you have 7 days to live.
Yeah, I mean the first adaptation of the Japanese horror franchise was a huge hit critically and commercially. It did 129 million domestically and worldwide it did 250 million. So it was a huge horror hit. But and it was directed by Gore Verbinski, the guy who did all those Pirates of the Caribbean films. I'm surprised they waited this many years to do a sequel.
No. There is a sequel that was released in 2005.
Oh, there
The Ring
was?
2. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So pretty much the first remake stars Naomi Watts, right, as a reporter who
Yeah,
investigate this some things, and
right,
she got a hold of the videotape and got afflicted by its curse.
right.
There's the sequel, 2005. It did I guess pretty well too. I mean, it opened to 35 million. Domestic take is 76 million, and the worldwide take is 161.
But as you can see, the drop off was pretty steep.
Yeah, there's a drop off, but still sounds pretty profitable to me.
Yeah, it's probably a still profitable film, but a huge drop off. Maybe one reason why it's taken this many years to make another one, or maybe why they want to reboot it, or well, they're rebooting everything. So, but like Xander Cage, there's been a lot of years in between films. And I think this might go the way of Xander Cage, where people don't care anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Okay, what number are you throwing out?
I really don't know because like I say, horror movies are hard to predict.
Yeah, they all hard to
Because they could
predict.
do really well or just just bomb, total bomb at the box office.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what the feeling right now is. There's already 2 movies in the Ring series, and although they're not recent, they're not that long ago.
2005 is like 12 years ago.
Right. So there's that, but I think that like this the star of the movie really is that girl, the long-haired girl dressed in white who got trapped in a well, died, and came back to hunt people, and crawling out TV. TV. So, not really sure about this, but I don't think it'll do that well. So how about let's do 10 million?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I might even go 8 million. I'm going 8 million. Like most of these sequels, when there's such a long period between films, whatever reason they thought back then why they shouldn't make a sequel, it's probably true why they shouldn't. And after all these years, there's probably this influx of films because of this whole reboot factor. We're gonna reboot it for millennials. So far, it doesn't seem like these reboots are working.
Yeah, I mean, when applied to Rings, what I'm thinking is that Split is still in theaters and it's holding up really well.
Yeah.
Those people who want a horror movie might want to catch that if they haven't already.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, what is the new thing that they're bringing to Rings?
Yeah, exactly. Well, right now, according to the trailer, they opened the can of worms. Now it's not just one wing; it's wings. Everyone who's seen the video. That's why it's called Wings. So now it's just not one family or one person. It's like they've unleashed the portal to hell. So now it's like everyone who watches it is seeing this woman calling out the TV. But the thing is, when we first saw the Ring and this woman calling out the TV was super scary. Now it's like, we've already seen it. We already experienced it. It's no longer that scary anymore.
Yes, and they even do this promotion where they have like actors, just kind of like a candid camera thing. If you've seen the video or not, where they have someone dressed as that ghost or whatever woman crawling out of TV to scare people.
And when it's been spoofed, I don't know, multiple times already, and its techniques have been redone so many times already.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the thing. That was kind of like the payoff. It's right at the end where she crawled out of the TV. But you gave away the scariest moment already.
Well, we already seen it multiple times, so I don't know.
We have seen it multiple times, but they kind of gave it away in like all the promos. When you expected that, what else? What, like I say, what new thing can they bring on to make this a even scarier movie? Other than the jump scares and the various other stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm with you there though. For people who want to see a horror thriller, they'll probably go see Split. Rings is so passé now.
Right, but like I said, we don't know. It could do really well.
I'm gonna say this won't.
Okay, all right. But I'm just putting out there that if it did really well, that's the reason. It's just like the horror audience. It's kind of hard to predict.
All right. Let's move on to the next film, The Space Between Us. It's the premise is kind of interesting, I guess. It's about a kid who was born in Mars, in a small little colony, raised by scientists, and he's finally returned to Earth, and he's experiencing Earth through brand new eyes. And of course, there's romance involved between him and some girl that he's been talking to while he was at Mars. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it stars Asia Butterfield, Britt Robertson, Carla Gugino, and Gary Oldman.
And B.D. Wong.
Yeah, that too. And it has all the elements of kind of like a YA romance novel.
Yeah, one of these feel-good YA
romance. It has hints of like the Fault Stars, where he came back and he experienced gravity, and that's having a bad effect on him. Like he'll die if he stays here any longer, right?
But the gravity difference isn't as huge as say between the Earth and the Moon. The gravity difference between the Earth and Mars is actually, I mean, there is a difference, but not not as huge as they make it out to be.
Facts don't play here.
Yeah,
facts don't play here. Like James Cameron said, he's going down, right?
Okay.
He's going down.
Yeah.
So it's a YA movie. That's all I have to say. It's not played by adults here. It plays the same crowd as, I guess, people who are kind of interested in the fossil and source.
Those films have been pretty passé lately, and they haven't been doing that well lately. I'm going with an 8 million type game too.
8 million type. Okay, all right. Okay. And I have to mention that this movie is distributed by STX Entertainment, who are on a roll, pretty much. They release these movies that are kind of not well known, but kind of disappointing well at the box office, like The Gift, The Boy, Bad Moms. I think it's their biggest hit.
Mm-hmm.
There's the horror movie, The Bye Bye Man.
Right.
At the age of 17, which kind of bombed. But like kind of well-made movies, well-regarded movies. That they're decent at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Will The Space Between Us do the same? I guess you say no.
Yeah, they are very good about marketing these films, though, I will say.
Yeah. Okay, so I will go higher.
Okay.
Because it's one of those movies where I think could do well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say 15. I'll open to 15.
Oh. Well, that will make it a modest hit.
Yes.
So it looks like between you and I, Splits will probably take another week at the box office, the top spot.
Yes, unless Rings and The Space Between Us surprise.
Yeah.
And Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
The Space Between Us ideally should open on February 12th, but hey, there's a bigger movie that's opening on that day.
50 Shades Darker.
Yes, and so that I think they're trying to do it a week early so they could get in that crowd before it gets overshadowed by 50 Shades Darker.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that because I don't think the 50 Shades of Grey film, I guess the word of mouth or the regard for it has deteriorated really quickly after the first film opened. But we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, that's a preview of our next podcast, but we'll give you a hint there what we'll talk about. We, that weekend we have 50 Shades Darker, we have John Wick 2, we have the Lego Batman movie. So a lot of
pretty good weekend at the movies.
Yeah. So you could say this is kind of like a quiet weekend before that week.
Yeah,
where we'll see some real numbers.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting week because all these moms are always gonna take actually maybe the dads will take their sons to see the Lego Batman movie and the mom will walk off to 50 Shades Darker.
Yeah. We'll see the trench coats come out. We'll see the sunglasses come out. Right?
I see. Right.
So, all right.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes. That's just a preview. That's just a taste of what we'll be talking about in the next podcast.
Okay. See you guys next week.